about a career day for 24-year-old Scott Wimmer, who came here with Bill Davis's blessings to run one of Bill's cars in the ARCA race on Saturday, but rain precluded ARCA qualifying. And so Bill said, you know what? He's second fastest in ARCA. Let's bring that car over and try to put it in the field in Winston Cup. And just that quickly, Scott, you go from being an ARCA hopeful to being a Winston Cup hopeful. What's the feeling?
It's pretty exciting. I got to thank Bill and Gail Davis for giving me this opportunity. You know, we got a good car here. Guys worked really hard. Guys from 22 team and a 93 team really helped us out. Hopefully get a good lap and get it in the show and go from there. Just get some laps.
Hey, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
24 years of age, a two-time winner in ASA, and maybe getting his first Winston Cup start here in the 2000 season finale.
You're right, folks. He's not from around these parts. Wisconsin, I think the young man is from. Oh, here, Wimmer, that's a good-looking line.
Guy we just talked to not too long ago, Scott Wimmer. These last two cars after Wimmer in the same situation. They were trying to make the ARCA race, but as Jerry said, qualifying was rained out. Scott Wimmer goes to 35th.
35th, 29.359 seconds, 188.835 miles per hour. Wow, that's some pressure. That is some pressure. If qualifying were to get rain tomorrow, which is not supposed to rain tomorrow, but if it should, he could possibly be in the NAPA 500.
Wasn't supposed to be cloudy and windy today either here.
Well, that's true.
We're looking at some guys back in the pack here that, you know, want to do good. They have a statement to make. Scott Wimmer came here to run in the ARCA race. Great story. He didn't get in because that qualifying was rained out, and they had starting points. He had no points, so they said, we'll bring the car over to Winston Cup, and he made the field for the NAPA 500.
We've got a pretty interesting situation right now. Remember we told you, Ned told you, as we did the starting lineup, about Scott Wimmer, who came here to run the ARCA race to get some experience so that he could run the NASCAR Busch Series next year for Bill Davis Racing. He has no experience on big racetracks. Well, guess what? ARCA qualifying was rained out, so he could not start the race. He moved his car over to the NASCAR Winston Cup garage. He made the race, and guess who's leading the race right now?
How about that?
Scott Wimmer came here to run the ARCA race, and 57 laps into it is leading the NAPA 500.
Well, that's something really good to go on his resume. I remember Darrell Waltrip, I think, led the first race that he was ever in, NASCAR Winston Cup race at Talladega.
Scott Wimmer will always remember this day, his Winston Cup debut. Up front is Scott Wimmer and Robbie Gordon. They're running first and second. They, however, did not pit under this caution.
But the cars running third, fourth, and fifth changed two tires. You go back to sixth position, Dale Earnhardt, I'm told he did change four, so we'll see what kind of advantage he has with those four fresh tires.
Go, go, go.
Wimmer's been leading under caution. Now he gets his first opportunity to lead under green flag conditions.
Oh, what a thrill that must be to have the best in all the best in stock racing behind you.
I'm telling you. Here he comes. He looks like he's going to make it, going to lead the lap on the green.
Leads a competitive lap. How about that? Steve Park, though, is right on the rear spoiler.
Now, this is, don't believe me, NASCAR officials are watching this closely. They want to view these guys in this kind of a situation to see how they handle themselves. And this determines whether or not he'll be able to run the Busch Series race in Daytona in February.
Scott Wimmer is from Wisconsin. As a matter of fact, he is the nephew of Larry Degens, who is one of the top short track drivers in Wisconsin for many, many years. But Steve Park tries to get to the inside of him.
And Earnhardt goes by Mark Martin on the outside. Moves into that third position. And here comes the 46 of Todd Bodine going by the 25 of Nadeau.
Todd has a good run going here in the first 63 laps of this race.
Oh, here we go. Park gets on the inside of Wimmer. It's close down the backstretch. That Toyota's horsepower, and here comes Earnhardt.
Now imagine what Scott Wimmer, what's going through his mind.
Oh, my goodness.
Wimmer, of course, driving a Bill Davis car. Bill Davis has a real eye for talent. Remember Jeff Gordon drove for him in the Busch Series?
Yep.
And then Bobby Labonte. Now this young man. Well, Dave Blaney.
More from Ray Dunlap.
Well, guys, you talk about Scott Wimmer trying to get into the ARCA race. In practice, he was the fastest car. But keep in mind, in the ARCA Series, you're allowed to use roller cams. In the Winston Cup Series, you have to have a flat tappet cam. So they had to change the engine in this car. I talked to Chuck Spicer, the team manager. He said the one they've got in the 23 car is just as strong as what they're running. And that's pretty evident by the way he's running on the track.
And now Mark Martin takes the lead from Steve Park. And so we have our 7th leader of the afternoon.
Scott Wimmer, the rookie, made a pit stop. That was probably a good idea that they get him in and get him in the rear, not in the middle of this field, but somewhere near the rear where he doesn't have all that pressure with some fantastic race car drivers all around him. Let's go down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Benny, that's exactly what they needed to do. Get him in here, get some fresh tires on there. They made an air pressure adjustment on the left rear to try to loosen up the car just a little bit for Scott Wimmer. But, boy, what a thrill it had to be for him to be up front and leading a Winston Cup race in his very first start.
Indeed, and a nice job doing so among the other drivers who came in for a pit stop.
Got a nice story about Scott Wimmer. I was talking to Mac Jones that worked for Jack Roush, and they had talked to him about maybe driving a truck. And they said, he runs the ASA circuit, and they asked him how many cars he had. He only had one car. And Mac said, well, don't you need another car? He said, well, between working on the car, maintaining the one I have, and driving the truck to the racetrack and driving the race car, I don't know if I have time to build another car or not.
Well, that's the way we used to do it.
He was the only guy, he and his dad, the only two people working on the car.
Wow, it's interesting.
And Scott Wimmer is slow on the backstretch.
He was running in the 17th position.
And we understand it's an engine problem for Scott Wimmer.
Had a terrific day going, this young man did. You see Ward Burton going by the 23 car, the AT&T Pontiac of Scott Wimmer, who we said we thought had blown an engine, but he simply ran out of fuel. He's now 24th, a couple of laps down, or actually 3 laps down.